Discover the rarest country in the world. In the Middle East, there are several countries, some very famous like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. However, there is a country located on the shores of the Persian Gulf with very curious facts that you've never heard of. Get to know Kuwait, a country located in the northeast of the Arabian Peninsula in Western Asia. It borders Iraq to the north and Saudi Arabia to the south. Its eastern coast is washed by the Persian Gulf. The capital and largest city of Kuwait is Kuwait City, situated on the Gulf Coast. The territorial extent of Kuwait is approximately 17,820 square kilometers. It's a relatively small country, smaller than a state in the United States. Kuwait's economy is highly dependent on oil and gas resources, making it one of the richest economies in the world in terms of GDP per capita. What's curious is that this country's currency is highly valued compared to the dollar and even the euro. To give you an idea, one Kuwaiti dinar is worth about $3. So, imagine how valuable this currency is and how strong the purchasing power of these Arabs is. Surreal, right? But why is this? Kuwait has one of the world's largest oil reserves, with vast deposits of oil located mainly in the south of the country. The oil sector is the backbone of Kuwait's economy, contributing the majority of export revenues and government revenues. Kuwait Petroleum Corporation is the state-owned company responsible for exploring, producing, and exporting the country's oil and natural gas. Oil and petroleum product exports account for the majority of Kuwait's export revenues. Major export destinations include Asian countries such as China, India, South Korea, and Japan, as well as Western countries. Kuwait is a member of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, and generally cooperates with other member countries to regulate oil production and prices in the global market. In recent years, Kuwait has sought to reduce its dependence on oil and diversify its economy. Economic diversification initiatives include investments in sectors such as renewable energy, technology, tourism, education, health, infrastructure, and financial services. The government has launched various development plans and incentive programs to promote economic diversification and sustainable growth. Kuwait has a robust financial sector, with a variety of commercial banks, investment institutions, insurance companies, and a stock exchange. The financial sector plays a crucial role in mobilizing capital for investments and financing economic projects. Kuwait has invested significantly in infrastructure and urban development, including road construction projects, bridges, airports, ports, and transportation facilities. Construction is an important sector of the economy, generating jobs and driving economic growth. Kuwait faces challenges related to a shortage of skilled labor, leading the country to recruit foreign workers in various sectors. The government has implemented policies to promote the employability of the local population and reduce dependence on foreign labor. Kuwait adopts an economic policy based on the principle of social welfare, providing substantial social benefits to its citizens, including health, education, housing, and subsidies. The government plays a central role in the economy, acting as a regulator, investor, and provider of public services. Despite challenges related to oil price volatility and the need for economic diversification, Kuwait remains a prosperous economy with significant potential for growth and future development. Now, how did Kuwait become the country it is today, a powerhouse in the oil industry? Well, for that, we need to understand the rich history of this country. The territory of Kuwait has an ancient history dating back thousands of years, with evidence of human settlements dating back to the Neolithic period. Originally inhabited by nomadic and semi-nomadic tribes, Kuwait was an important trading and fishing center during ancient times. During the 17th and 18th centuries, Kuwait emerged as a prosperous city-state, governed by local Arab families, mainly the Al-Sabah. In the 18th century, Kuwait became a significant trading post for trade routes between Persia, India, and the Middle East. Ottoman control over Kuwait was only nominally recognized, and British influence grew in the region in the 19th century. In 1899, Kuwait signed a protection treaty with the British Empire, ensuring its protection against external threats in exchange for autonomy in its internal affairs. This treaty helped protect Kuwait from invasions and external conquests, such as the attempted annexation by the Ottoman Empire. The discovery of oil in 1938 radically transformed Kuwait's economy and society. Oil exploration began in the 1940s, driving the country's economic development. In 1961, Kuwait achieved independence from the United Kingdom, becoming a sovereign nation. Kuwait maintained close diplomatic relations with other Arab and Western countries. However, in 1990, Iraq invaded Kuwait, annexing it to its territory. This triggered the Gulf War, an international coalition led by the United States, which liberated Kuwait in 1991. After liberation, Kuwait embarked on reconstruction and economic development diversification efforts. The country invested in infrastructure, education, and healthcare, seeking to reduce its dependence on oil. Kuwait is also known for its political system, with a constitutional monarchy involving limited parliamentary participation. In modern times, Kuwait continues to face challenges such as fluctuating oil prices, economic diversification, and internal political issues. However, the country maintains a stable position in the region, with a strong economy and an active role in international relations, especially within the Gulf Cooperation Council. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and also share this video with anyone you think might be interested, so you'll help me bring more documentaries like this every week. Moving on, another curiosity about this country is Ramadan. Ramadan is one of the most significant months of the Islamic calendar, during which Muslims fast from dawn to sunset as an act of worship and devotion to Allah. Ramadan is a sacred month for Muslims, during which it is believed that the Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad. During this month, Muslims fast every day from dawn to sunset, abstaining from eating, drinking, smoking, and activities considered immoral. Fasting in Ramadan is a mandatory practice for healthy adult Muslims, except for those who are traveling, ill, pregnant, or breastfeeding. Before the start of Ramadan, families often make special preparations, including food shopping and meal planning for pre-dawn and post-sunset meals. During Ramadan, mosques hold additional religious activities, such as special nightly prayers known as Taraweeh, where the Quran is recited in its entirety throughout the month. During the day, many businesses have reduced hours, and some companies operate on flexible schedules to accommodate their employees' fasting. Ramadan is also a period of generosity and charity, and many people take the opportunity to give alms and make donations to help the less fortunate. Ramadan is not only a period of physical abstinence, but also a time of spiritual reflection, self-discipline, solidarity, and closeness to God. In Kuwait, where the majority of the population is Muslim, Ramadan plays a central role in the country's social, cultural, and religious life, bringing people together around shared values of faith and community. Additionally, Kuwait boasts sensational geography, where the majority of the country consists of flat and arid lands, with desert plains occupying most of the country's interior. The terrain is characterized by sand dunes, dry riverbeds, and vast expanses of rocky desert. The coastal region along the Persian Gulf features marshes, mangroves, and coastal vegetation areas. Kuwait has a hot desert climate, with extremely hot and dry summers and mild winters. During summer, temperatures can easily exceed 45 degrees Celsius, while in winter, temperatures can range between 8 and 20 degrees Celsius. Rainfall is scarce and irregular, mainly occurring during the winter months, with an annual average precipitation of less than 130 millimeters. Kuwait has limited water resources, with few permanent rivers and limited groundwater reservoirs. The country mainly relies on desalination of seawater to meet its drinking water needs. Kuwaiti authorities have also implemented water conservation and reuse measures to address challenges related to water scarcity. Kuwait is rich in natural resources, especially oil and natural gas. The vast oil reserves of Kuwait are located mainly in the south of the country, along the border with Saudi Arabia. In addition to oil, the country also has natural gas reserves, as well as deposits of sulfur and phosphate. Due to arid and extreme conditions, Kuwait's natural biodiversity is limited. However, the country is home to a variety of wildlife adapted to the desert environment, including reptiles, migratory birds, small mammals, and insects. The marshes along the southern coast of Kuwait are important for wildlife, serving as habitat for waterfowl, fish, and other species. Most of Kuwait is used for non-agricultural purposes, with activities such as oil exploration, urban infrastructure, industry, and residential development dominating the landscape. Agriculture is limited due to the country's arid conditions, with small irrigated areas used for cultivating basic agricultural products such as vegetables and fodder. Despite being a small and predominantly desert country, Kuwait has a unique geography and plays an important role in the Persian Gulf region due to its natural resources and strategic location. If you're interested in visiting or living in this country, let's look at the costs there. The monthly cost of food in Kuwait can vary considerably depending on your lifestyle and eating habits. A single person will spend between $200 and $300 on monthly food expenses. An inexpensive meal at a restaurant will cost you between $3 and $6. A mid-range restaurant meal will cost you between $10 and $30. A liter of milk costs $1. A kilogram of rice costs $2. A kilogram of chicken costs $5. As you can see, the cost of food isn't too expensive but also not very cheap. So, to save money in this country, cook at at home as it's the most economical way to eat. Take advantage of promotions and offers because many supermarkets offer discounts on specific products. Now let's talk about the cost of rent. A small apartment rental costs $300 per month. A slightly larger one-bedroom apartment will cost you around $800 per month. As you can see, rental prices in this country are indeed quite high. But if you only want to visit, the prices for good room accommodations start from $60 per night and can easily reach $200 per day in this country. What do you think about visiting this country? Comment below. Another curiosity about this country is that polygamy in Kuwait is legalized and practiced by a minority of the male population. According to data from the Doha International Family Institute, about 8.13% of married men in Kuwait have more than one wife. Polygamy is allowed by Islamic law, which forms the basis of Kuwait's legal system. The Kuwaiti family law of 1951 allows a man to marry up to 4 women, provided he can provide them with equal living standards and fair treatment. The man must obtain permission from a court before marrying a second wife. He must prove that he has the financial capability to support all his wives and their children. The man must declare his intention to marry more than one wife at the time of the first marriage. Polygamy is more common among Bedouins, who are nomadic peoples traditionally living in rural areas. Polygamy is also practiced by some wealthy men who can afford multiple wives. Wives usually live in separate houses and are responsible for caring for their own children. Polygamy can be challenging for women, who may have to compete for their husband's attention and affection. It can also be challenging for children, who may have to share their father's time and attention with their siblings. There is an ongoing debate in Kuwait about polygamy. Some argue that polygamy is a cultural practice that should be respected. Others argue that polygamy is discriminatory against women and violates their rights. What do you think about this? Comment below. Indeed, Kuwait is an Arab country that we hear little about, but it contains a rich history and culture. What do you think of the lifestyle of this people? Would you visit this country? Comment below. Until the next video.